A new ship class,
a massive overhaul,
a new type of ship,
combat rework.
It is not a ground combat rework. It is not a ground combat rework.
Or is it? No, it's not. Disruptors. A weapon so bad, it had a nickname. A noob's best friend. Because let's be real here, before the rework, it sucks. Why? Because of neutrons and no minimum range. These two factors completely crush disruptors as they get obliterated from across the system. Even if you camp hyperlanes, it's still terrible, as the Alpha Strike is so bad. Combined with the old disengagement mechanics, it's just pure masochism. Heck, even researching this tech can be harmful, as it will make your Starbase AI combine disruptors with normal weapons, running possibly the worst build in the entire game. Even worse if you use the auto designer. It will legit make the worst, most hilariously bad designs possible. Truly, the noob trap to end all noob traps. Now we get to the combat rework, where everything changed. We got armor and shield hardening, and so many new fancy things. Hold up, big weapons are nerfed? This is big news. Wait. Now that ship hull techs and neutrons are severely nerfed, this means armor's good again. For the longest time, armor was terrible, because neutrons would just one-shot it. People would run complete shield ships with little to no armor for this very reason. Not anymore. With the addition of minimum range and firing arcs, short-range weapons aren't at a massive disadvantage now. On top of that, disengagement also got reworked heavily. Now, how does this relate to disruptors? Well, everything. When disruptors attack, they bypass shields and armor to directly attack the enemy hull, immediately decreasing the ship's fire rate and even prematurely triggering their disengagement, which results in less ships for the enemy to counterattack in battle. Remember, the strength of disengagement is also its greatest weakness. A ship that's disengaged is invulnerable, but also not dealing any damage. Combined with large weapons getting a massive nerf, it makes quick and maneuverable disruptor fleets absolutely terrifying. Alright, now they just sound busted. So now, let's talk about their downsides. Triggering disengagement. Wait, isn't that supposed to? There have been cases where people lose every single battle, not because they have less firepower, but because half of their ships just go missing in the middle of the battle. This results in amusing situations where disruptor fleets can win practically any battle they encounter, but not inflict any war exhaustion or any ship losses. As for war exhaustion, it's not stated anywhere, but ship deaths are a major contributor to it. Ships simply disengaging will generate practically no war exhaustion, even if the battle is quote-unquote lost. This is especially effective if you're using disruptors on corvettes. In an early attack, you're just gonna decimate everything, unless the enemy switches to no retreat and slaughters all of your ships, that is. Remember, no retreat prevents any ship from disengaging, while also significantly boosting their fire rate. Of course, this means the disruptor's main advantage of forcing ships out of battle is completely gone, resulting in a wipeout battle where ironically, losses for the no retreat player is lower. If you happen to get lured deep into enemy territory and suddenly get ambushed, you're screwed. Even worse if the enemy have an FTL jamming aura. So always keep this in mind. I mean, cloaking is probably gonna make this problem even worse, as you literally can't trust your own eyes anymore. Not to mention the low range means any artillery or kiting ship will wreck the pathetic range disruptors have. Now, let's not forget about hardening. You see how hardening prevents bypass weapons, but not at all because it depends on their performance. This is gonna get a little technical. Bear with me here. Shield hardening counters all bypass weapons, while armor hardening only counters disruptors and not strike crafts, missiles, or torpedoes. Sounds unbalanced? Well, shield hardening is harder to get and usually less effective, because in this patch where autocannons and swarmers are king, shields just get bypass or go kapoof. While the opposite is true with armor. Now that neutrons are severely nerfed, they actually have a use. Heck, they're actually the meta. Everyone and their mothers use the triple auxiliary back section on their ships now. And you know what destroys disruptors more than kiting? Triple armor hardening. Combined with the rather sudden viability of armor, this is perfect, as it means disruptors will take twice the amount of time to force an enemy out of combat or render it useless. This is usually the fastest way to counter them. As opposed to having to replace your entire weapon loadout, you can instead just replace all your A slots, saving up on alloys and time, which can be crucial if the enemy is using triple afterburners, since there's simply not enough time against such fast-moving ships. Okay, why am I predominantly talking about cruisers for the last few design videos? Mostly because they are by far the most adaptive ship type in the game. They can become artillery, carrier, broadside, or even torpedo ships. Basically, any armament type can fit on their 3 section types. Disruptors can also work on corvettes and destroyers, but will work most efficiently on broadside cruisers. So, it is time to reveal the dark arts. Behold, the fully armored cruiser, the Daredevil strategy developed by the actual full armor with trash shields? How do you even get max disruptors this early? Well, you see, experts in black magic have informed me that shields are officially cringe. Fully armoring yourself with hardening while also cheaping out on sensors, shields, and even reactors can allow you to rush level 3 disruptors ludicrously early. Use this however you will. But yeah, this strategy is a little broken. Maybe you've seen this in a few tournaments where the tryhards abuse this very strategy. What about battleships then? Nope, it's just hot garbage. Disruptors can't go on large slots, which you actually can't opt out of in battleships, aka you need Cloud Lightning, which is not only hard to get but also sucks. Why go through all the trouble of getting arc emitters and Cloud Lightning when you can just use disruptors and do the exact same thing with a ship that's not only faster but also less vulnerable to torpedoes? Like really, cruisers are so busted overpowered that everyone and their mothers use the same goddamn ship every single game. It's kinda getting a little ridiculous. Now, how do you properly position yourself? As disruptors have really low range, you want to be up close and personal. This usually means camping hyperlanes or using triple afterburners to close the gap. Remember, the main counter to disruptors are ships that stay out of range while shooting back, aka artillery and kiting. Be especially careful of swarmer cruisers. As they don't have a firing arc, they won't need to turn around to shoot, which is a major factor in an engagement, especially if you don't have triple afterburners, as it would make catching up to the enemy nearly impossible, dooming you in your slow-ass ways. Only engage when you can ambush them on hyperlanes or where there's no room to run away. More specifically, on the edge of systems, keep in mind the system size before every battle, as there are small, medium, and large ones. That's what she said. If you happen to engage in a large system, you can basically sayonara goodbye your fleets, as there's practically infinite space for the enemy to kite from. Just before a decisive engagement, you should keep your doctrine at rapid deployment and switch to hit and run when you catch up to the enemy, so you have as much time as possible with the high speed while also having the advantage of practically zero losses afforded by hit and run. Cruisers not only have the highest disengagement multiplier, they also got their base hull increased to 1800 in the last patch, resulting in a terribly large chance to disengage. To top it all off, why not just reroll your leader to the cruiser focus? 20% off for all cruisers just for the price of a little unity by hiring a few admirals and forcing an election a bunch of times. Truly a busted build that literally any empire can pull off. Note all of this mostly applies to military juntas with fanatic militarists. Ignore what I say if you're not this, because tough luck, you may have to do this 10 times more, because depending on the government type, the sorts of leaders are different. I also need to mention how most of what I say only applies to Tier 1 hardening. Once you get to Tier 2, the shield one is better. Why? Because living reactive armor is a Tier 5 technology, while also requiring living metal, by far the rarest resource in the entire game, spawning only on a handful of systems, or if you're a Herpy Dragon's origin. Advanced shield hardeners meanwhile only need Zro, which is more common due to significantly more events. Of course, you can use the galactic market too, but if you're a UN hater, this is kinda hard. Thank you to Kenji, Dionysus, and everyone else on Patreon, and all the channel members who supported me. See you again in 2 weeks, or more, depending on how long the next script is. I honestly don't know. Please help. This is too much.